We were sold a certain vision of the future. It was like what our parents had. So if you kind of settle down, work hard, you'll be able to buy a house, you'll have a good pension, the house will go up in value, you'll retire at a certain age, you'll have a family. Most people will be able to have a kind of nice life. They'll be able to have stability and not, masses of wealth, but a certain amount of prosperity. For our generation, for the vast majority of us, that deal has been completely broken. Lots of people will not be able to afford a home. Those that do generally will be inheriting money from their parents to support them. Work doesn't seem to pay as much as it used to anymore, both because we've had this long-term stagnation of wages and because we've had rising living costs now for quite some time. The public services that we rely on, education, healthcare, all of them seem to be breaking down. And then if you have something goes wrong in your life, like, a tooth issue or, God forbid, your parents get ill and need care, you then see even more deeply into how these systems just don't seem to be working. And this promise of stability, of prosperity, of a world that will get better, where your children will be better off than you and when you will be better off than your parents, it's completely disappeared. I think there are a lot of people basically looking around and trying to think, what happens? Like, how did the system get so broken that the things that my parents took for granted, I can now no longer expect to have in my life? That promise was really a really exceptional historical period. That's not generally how capitalism works, of kind of facilitating long-term increases in equality, in general prosperity, in stability. This is a system that's characterized by crisis, by inequality, by exploitation, all of these sorts of things. And that there was this kind of brief period, maybe from like the 1960s to 2008, basically, where, the model seemed basically to work for most people in our countries. And now we're reverting to the historical norm of crisis, of inequality, accompanied by all the other crises that we haven't even, mentioned, like with the climate and, oligarchs taking over the world, all that sort of stuff. We shouldn't be looking at how we try and fix this system and go back to some sort of like mythological age when everything worked really effectively.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible.
Yeah.
We really need to think about what's wrong with the fundamentals of how we organize things.